Hello, my name is Paradise Porter and I'm the president of Students for Disability Advocacy. It means a lot to me that you'd like to take the time out of your day to watch this video, whether or not you are affiliated with the university or if you aren't and you're just a viewer. It still means a lot to us and we really appreciate you considering our message. This video is the Accessibility Walk, and the Accessibility Walk was more of a light tour around the University of Alaska Fairbanks Troth Yeddha campus, where we reviewed some buildings and some spaces that, based on the feedback of students who experience disabilities, are not as accessible or equitable as other places on campus. We do recognize that the campus is actively working towards making it more equitable, and we do like that the campus is ADA accessible. This video is just made to give some feedback to the campus, some constructive criticism, if you will, and point out some places that people have told us that they are having a hard time accessing. Thank you so much again for considering watching this video. We really appreciate you and we hope you enjoy it.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Villaseñor and I'm the Secretary for Students for Disability Advocacy Group. While Students for Disability Advocacy is a student-run club, accessibility issues affect all disabled people that may want to access our wonderful campus. Improving accessibility on our campus is vital for people with disabilities. Having the ability to go to class, participate in events, and hang out with friends should be available to all people.
Hi y'all, I'm Victoria Avery and I am the advisor for SFDA. We would like to use this video as a stepping stone to making our campus more accessible. Not only will it open up opportunities for people with disability accessing our campus, but it will also show how UAF is striving to improve accessibility for students, staff, and all people that come to our campus. We hope you find this video helpful and thank you for your time.
Our first stop of the day is the Wood Center Free Store, which is a really great resource for anyone on campus, including students. The Free Store, as you can see behind me, is not accessible by elevator. And this is obviously an issue for people in wheelchairs or from mobility-related disabilities. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer so you can kind of see what's going on. Here are the stairs to the Free Store. They're not well lit. There are no strips, so people with color blindness or any type of stair blindness will not be able to access them easily. And if we go down there, you will see that there is no actual elevator. So as you can see, no elevator in sight. There's Vicky. And it's really handy because they also have the Upcycle Annex, which would be a really great resource for anyone regardless of mobility issues, where you can learn how to create, alter, and repair clothing. But people with physical disabilities who may have trouble accessing or going down steps will not be able to get this resource. We are now at the Wood Center back elevator. And the reason why the back elevator is not as accessible as it could be is because it is very tiny, so someone with a wheelchair is not as comfortable as someone with a mobility disability. Now, we're going to show you going up it. But this is what it looks like. It's very tiny.
Ooh, there might be enough room for 3 of us.
Yeah, like just enough. But this is enough for just 3 people, but if someone was in a wheelchair, they would have to be completely sideways, and it would be very hard to get in and out. We're glad the elevator's there, but we wish it was a little bit better.
This building is Gruning, where a lot of the general education requirement classes are held, as well as some offices such as student support services and disability services on the 2nd floor. And we're drawing your attention to this particular pathway because it's right across from the Wood Center, and yet there are 2 doors on either side that don't have those buttons for people with mobility issues, and so they would have to walk all the way around the building to access those buttons.
Let's show you. So this is the exact pathway I would be taking if I were someone with a wheelchair. This like natural ramp is really easy to get onto, and then I have to go this way. There's another door on that side that also doesn't have the buttons. So I'm walking. And then I look and I'm like, oh no, there's no buttons for me to use. Let me see if there's a button over here. And I'm trying to get to class and I got like 2 minutes until I gotta get to class and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's no buttons. And I go all the way over here. And this one faces the engineering buildings and the library. And I'm like, oh good, a button. Finally. It doesn't. Oh, well, it's currently not working right now, but if it were to work, that would be the way for someone to get in.
If this were to happen to someone with a mobility disability, they would have to keep going around the building, or not go in at all if they are unable to open the door and man their device by themselves.
Now we bring you to the accessible bathroom on the 6th floor of Gruning, and they did a really nice job with making this bathroom accessible not only to people who experience disabilities, but for those who are looking for gender inclusive bathrooms as well. The only maybe difficulty with this bathroom is that there's only 2 and they're on the 6th floor. So again, right now, Disability Services is on the 2nd floor. So if somebody is taking a test down on the 2nd floor, they would have to come all the way up here in order to use the bathroom.
So here we are at Eielson/Sliners Hall, where a lot of crucial areas are, like financial aid, admissions, bursars, everything a student really needs, and a couple of upgrades that would be great is the elevator. You could use a really nice facelift. It's very, very small, so the hallways throughout the building are narrow as well, which makes it harder for people in wheelchairs to move around comfortably. And also the ramps tend to be very steep as well, which could cause some issues.
So we are going to take you into Eielson and the experience that someone with a wheelchair would have to do if they wanted to get up to the 2nd floor, and how to get to that elevator. Oh yeah, can't go down the stairs, so you go right out of your ring. And then you turn. And you go right. And then there's the button. Oh, very quick too. Don't have to wait too long. That's good. Then wave. Perfect. And then this is the exact experience of someone who wants to access the 2nd floor of Eielson. And you can see there are a lot of really useful offices here. And then there are no signs, so it's a little bit confusing. So you have to go here. Oh, this might be locked. So this is just how narrow the door to Signers is. And this is the elevator that's right in there is the only elevator that is accessible to the top floor of Eielson and the top floor of Signers, and it's also very narrow. And there are no signs, so it would be very helpful, especially in disability services. Whenever we try to direct someone over here, it's very hard to describe things because there's no signs to base them off of. So we are in front of the Salisbury Theater, which is a really great resource on campus because a lot of events happen in the Salisbury Theater. And there's also the KSUA radio, which is downstairs. And there's like music classes that are downstairs, and we're kind of going to show you the experience of a wheelchair person trying to get down there, because currently, as soon as you walk in, there are no elevators, there are no elevator signs. So if I was in a wheelchair, I would be like, oh, so there's no elevators, and then I would leave, which is inherently inequitable. You're going to walk to the Salisbury Theater, you're like, oh, there's an event. I wonder if they have an elevator. And that's how you immediately get down there. That's how most people who are able-bodied and able to walk downstairs would get down there. All of those steps. So then what you would actually do, and keep in mind there are no signs, so this is not something that someone would be able to figure out easily. You would come over here and you would be like, wow, so there's really not an elevator in this place, because these are all the stairs you're greeted with. Then right here, this is also stairs. But oh wait, this unmarked thing is actually how someone with a wheelchair would get upstairs. So I'm in a wheelchair, I'm going in, let's say I'm like this, I'm like, okay, so I'll try and navigate this, and then I also have to close this at the same time. So imagine my wheelchair already getting caught right here. Already, I'm having issues. And I'm like, oh my goodness, there's no handle on this side, so I can't close it. So I don't know what to do. Hopefully that's closed. So then I'm like, okay, I guess I'm in here. And I press the up button. Have this little horrifying experience. I'm still backed up. Oh, look, I'm up top. How do I get out? Oh, I have to back up like this. I have to do this. And then that's how I get out. So then, how you get downstairs, because we haven't even clarified that yet. Oh, look, an elevator. Oh my goodness, would you believe it? There's no signs. So then, now you've reached an elevator. Oh, it's very large. That's great. So you walk in. You can have room to move around. So I'm gonna assume that one is the bottom floor. I'm not quite sure. So we're on this floor. I'm not quite sure what this is. So we are in.
Apparently, you were supposed to turn left here to reach accessible seating for the concert hall. The sign is a bit small and are no previous signs, so you would have had to figure out all of those previous steps by yourself with no directions.
A place and oh look, restrooms. But I'm not quite sure where this leads to. What floor am I on? So we'll walk and try and find this out with no signs. Oh, and this is how you get down to the KUAC, the same place that someone with just those stairs would be able to reach in in 30 seconds. This is how someone with a wheelchair would get down here. And that's how you get to the same place that someone with, not with a wheelchair would be able to reach in 30 seconds. As you can tell, for someone who's trying to either get somewhere quickly or is just trying to have an experience that isn't going to take a lot of time out of their day, or a really inconvenient and also kind of scary experience, this is an inequitable for someone. And it is great that there is at least a way down here, but it could definitely use some improvement. I am standing in front of the theater department, which is still part of the Fine Arts building and where a lot of the offices are, and also assumingly some classes. And there is no way down there. If you were in a wheelchair or if you had any mobility issues and you were not able, you might be able to get down, but you might not be able to get back up. And there is access to this floor through elevator, this space right here through elevator, and it's the exact experience that we just showed you. You would have to go up and then go down again. And this is what people who are able to walk downstairs get. And then they go just straight down these steps. But someone who is in a wheelchair would have to stop on this floor. So that is inherently inequitable. And although this building is clearly working on more accessible improvements, it definitely is not there yet.
And now we're at the dorms. There are a couple of concerns that we had about the entrances here. This is the main way to get into the dorms. There's also stairs over to my left, to your right. And the issue with those stairs is that they're, if you're visually impaired and you have a cane, there's just issues getting up those stairs.
So we're going to show you how these stairs are inaccessible for people with visual impairments. So essentially, people who are visually impaired or maybe do not have a walking stick use the tip of their toes in order to like tap this part of the steps to make sure that they're going up the steps properly. But with these stairs, you figure out that you're doing that, and then you go like that, and you're like, oh, that's really steep. I don't know what I'm doing. And luckily, the other steps do have the backs of the stairs, but again, you would have to go all the way around over there in order to get to it. And a lot of times, this is a lot easier to get to because right up this hill, you can just go straight here.
And so if you broke your foot or again, if you're in a wheelchair, you'd have to go down and around and then up to get to the dorms.
So we're going to show how this hill is not inherently equitable to someone who does not have a mobility device or maybe just cannot currently walk up a bunch of stairs. So in order to get out of MBS without walking downstairs, what you have to do is you come out of those doors over there, you go all the way right, then you go all the way like that, and then you go down this hill, and then you go whichever direction your destination might be in. And then it's especially really difficult for people who have classes in Gruning or classes on lower campus. If you're in a wheelchair, or if you can't walk down the steps, you have to go all the way there and then all the way around, and it adds a lot onto your time that it would originally take you if you were just walking down the steps. So we are in the back of the Reichart building. This is where the chemistry department is, the physics department. This is where a lot of the GER science classes are, and this one is only accessible to people with mobility issues by the store, which is in the back of the building. And although it does exist, it is very inequitable for people, because you either have to go up that street, which is a one-way going that way, so you're facing oncoming traffic, or you have to go on the sidewalk. The sidewalk would be if it was plowed. Is how you would get in, and the original entrance of Reichart is not accessible by wheelchair.
For clarification, Reichart does have a path up to the front door, but there are no wheelchair buttons to automate the door.
We are in the back of Mary, and the Mary building is the building where a lot of the science GERs and specialized science classes are. And the back of Mary is where most people park who have cars. I'll show you the parking lot here. This is where you would think you would park if you were had a mobility issue or you had a wheelchair, and you would be greeted with a door right here that does not have a wheelchair button, and a door right here that also doesn't have a wheelchair button. And then you would come in, and there would be all stairs. There is not an elevator access here. So what you would actually have to do is, since we are right here, you would have to figure out where the west entry ADA parking is and then go in through there. And I believe this is actually the only ADA parking in all of the Murray building. You'd have to figure out there, and then you would have to go all the way through there and all the way there in order to get to the elevators to access all of this, which is inequitable, because someone who just can walk upstairs or walk downstairs would not have to do all that. So my name is Brianna Porter again. I'm the president of Students for Disability Advocacy, and I thank you for watching this video. I hope you were able to see and learn about some of the points that could use some improvement that disability or people with disabilities have to use and access every day. With this video, we were hoping to aim to not only educate people on some of the issues on campus that disabled people come across, but also provide opportunity for the campus to continue to grow in its effort to make campus more ADA accessible.
So I feel like when we initially started this video, I don't think we knew some of the issues that we were going to come across. We heard from some other students about their experiences, but it was something else to really walk around. I don't know, what did you guys gain from this experience?
I think it's made me my eyes have been more open, because I hear, not only as the president of Students for Disability Advocacy, but I work in disability services. So we've gotten a lot of students who have been like, yeah, this is just really inconvenient for me. And I'm like, yeah, I know it sucks. But it's like, it's one thing to know about it, but it's another thing to actually go through and see what the experience is truly like, and just how inconvenient it can feel to be disabled. And I feel like that really is just not something that we want to do as a campus, and something that we don't want people to feel, is that they are inconvenienced because of their disability. I feel like it should be more equal.
Yeah, especially as I'm working at Students support services where we do help students with disabilities. So really seeing what our students have to face with every day, who come from different backgrounds, go to different classes, is really eye-opening. And I learned a whole lot in how to better support them now and also in the future.
One of the barriers that we came across was we were just looking for accessible ways to get into buildings. I felt like we were on a treasure hunt or something. So part of what we think could make campus more accessible is just signage.
Signage is really, really big, and it also helps relieve the university itself from liability if something was to happen. So even something as simple as, this is how you access this, or this is a wheelchair accessible thing, would help not only people with disabilities, but it would help the university improve the space as a whole.
Even elevators are on the left.
Yes. Or like there are elevators in this building, or like even like a building layout like Mary has, where we were luckily able to figure out where this was in order, if we were with a disability, we could just like go to that and be like, oh, okay, so I have to do this. So we at least have a game plan, but it's really hard in order to still continue to access things if there's absolutely nothing to work with whenever you first walk into a building. So again, we are Students for Disability Advocacy. We are a student-led organization, and we advocate for disabled individuals. We provide a safe space, and we are hoping to work towards improving accessibility on campus. If you wanted to reach out to any of us, we are reachable by email or on our Instagram. Our email is sfda@uaf@gmail.com, and our Instagram is Students for Disability Advocacy, all combined, all lowercase. So thank you again for your time, and we hope you learned something from this video.